your organization, the Joint Action Fund, actually called for a sustained mass struggle to defend the socio-economic rights and for system change. Shortly after your press conference, the DSS, the Department of State Security Service, actually issued a statement saying that some individuals were striving, or groups under the guise of political difference with the current government, are working to destabilize the country. What's your reaction to this thing?
That's even an understatement, because the DSS itself is a destabilizing agency. You can't have a country in which you have millions of youth unemployed. You see, and you cannot face the reality that that country itself need a change. So the Joint Action Front is not a new organization. It's a pro-labor civil society platform. And it has been at the forefront of most of the major struggles we have had in this country, particularly since the beginning of this present transition. Beyond that, elements that are in the Joint Action Front have been part of the struggle to liberate this country, right from the 40s, 50s, 60s. So when you have organizations like Joint Action Front, it's a continuum, you see, of that phase of struggle. You see, a security agency, first and foremost, is playing its role as an agent of destabilization. Because when you begin to label organization, the word subversive, some of us, we are used to it. You see, you can talk of the present transitions. The same security who accuse us of destabilizing the military, to exit the military. You see, many of them are profit of that struggle that we wage. So our country cannot go down and we leave the country this way. There must be alternative to this. And the call of Joint Action Fund goes beyond just the regime. It's talking about the system itself. You are running an exploitative system that cannot deliver it. You see, and that's why you are having crisis all over the country. You see, you can't solve that security situation problem where you have majority of the young ones that are not taken care of, whether in terms of education. There's no reason why any child of school age till 18 should be outside the four walls of the schools in this country. What's the state of education? What's the state of working people? You have wage you are not paying. People are in starvations. You have the recent xenophobia thing and reprisal attack in the country. What is bringing about it? It showed clearly the fail of a state to deliver. You see, and the challenge, you see, of organizations that have the interests of people at heart is to call the people, to wake up the people, to understand the reality of their own existence. So when you have DSS, we have been dealing with many of them since the NSO, Nigerian security organizations, to SSS, to now DSS, whatever they call themselves and co. So we are not deterred, you see, by those things about subversive element. The point is that there is a reality today that this country cannot move forward. You see, and every country that has reached a site that have reached the state that they have reached, you see, women in that society who do not want to be dehumanized have a responsibility to wake up to that challenge.
Let me get this. The Joint Action Force is actually demanding, or part of the declaration of action includes the fact that you're beginning a mass political education and mobilization for system change. This is the same, I mean,
yeah, that is, we have been on it.
We actually call for a revolution. In an open democracy, are you not calling for open anarchy?
You know, I think, you see, part of the first error we made is to talk of democracy. Where is that democracy? You see, that's the assumptions. You see, because democracy is supposed to exist on the basis of the wishes and aspirations of the people. And they are masters. You get it now, because they are masters in Europe and America. Let them go and listen to the preface of their constitutions. Because the preface to the American Constitution states clearly, we hold this truth to be self-evident, that all women are created equal and are endowed by certain inalienable rights. Among these are the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And that to secure this right, you get it now, government is instituted among them, you get it, for the purpose of serving those ends. And that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of that end, which is the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, It is the right of the people to alter and abolish that government.
But that's it.
That is their, I'm telling them, I'm saying they are masters. Although there's also hypocrisy in it. You get it? So what I'm saying is that when people talk about the questions of subversions, they must understand that first and foremost, you see, a state that isolates the people, you get that disconstruct itself from the people, is the one first and foremost guilty of subversions. Because you are creating an environment for it and go. So when you have a government now like labeling Shore terrorists, why do you label a government of ours? Is that not economic terrorist? Meeting with IMF? Are they not the one destroying lives? Meeting with World Bank and their policies? You see, what could be more serious at that level? It is in time that we talk sense to our people. You see, we are talking of political education and mobilization of the people. We are not apologetic about it. You see, because the people themselves who deserve that liberty. It's the people themselves who deserve that pursuit of happiness. And that is why you see there is no freedom that is enjoyed without a struggle. So all those threats, for somebody like me, for somebody like those who have related together for years in this country on this, we are not apologetic about it. The present actor in government, you get it? When we were in the National Association of Nigerian Students, that was the glorious days of NANS. NANS was banned by that regime. Over what? Over commercialization of education. What is the state of education today? All those who are enjoying free tuitions today, that we still have a level of federal university in this country, federal institution in this country, was the product of that struggle for Alimongo. If we didn't struggle for it, we will not have that. So nobody threatening people like us. So the call for a revolution is a legitimate call at that level. The question of the act is a different thing entirely. The issue at stake is political. It's a question of power. Because power resides with those who use power to dehumanize our people in this country. And to that extent, if we are human enough in this country, we must call on the people. There is an alternative. So the call for stability is not new. We have been part of this struggle. In 1986, there was a political debate on the future directions of Nigeria. So the context of socialism was the outcome of that 1986 political debate. And what are we talking about? We need an alternative political and economic arrangement in which the resources of the country can be maximally benefit everybody in the country. It's not about ethnicity. Because they are the ones using ethnicity, religions, and everything to divide the people. And the challenge of JAV is to say, come the people. Don't allow yourself to be divided. Because the fundamental basis of the question we are raising about a new political and alternative arrangement is that who controls the economy and for who. That's the challenge. So it goes beyond an individual that is in government. Our struggle to even try to institute democracy is not about the actors that have become the present beneficiaries who are opposed to it. So for the DSS, it's minor. To some also, the DSS have been part of it. You get it, they inherit it from the colonial authority. Because there are two acts today still with us. You have the Sedition Act. Sedition Act was created to undermine and ban the Zikis movement. You have the Public Order Act. All in my life, I have never been part of those who will then write a letter to protest. It's the responsibility of the police. If you see protesters on the road, go and protect them. What's my business about that? You see? So that's why people want to do that. I've been right, no slave get freedom from his master. So for us as Nigerians, you can't not want to enjoy freedom. Who has called for more revolution than Fela in this country? Suffer for what, Abi? Enjoy for you, open your eyes there. Your life, they roll like one year ball. You say, in these generations now, if these generations are not angry enough, they should be angry than our own generations. You have millions of unemployed youth, and they are not on the street. Even with photocopy of their certificate and say, all we are saying, give us job. You see, that's the kind of generation that will have changed this country.
Now, but, comrade, what kind of system change are we talking about? Is it a change of government, a constitutional review, or a restructuring? No. What kind of system?
When you say a system change, you see, what system are we running? We are running an exploitative system.
So what is
that exploitative? Yeah, you see, when you run an exploitative system, exploitative simply means, you get it now, you rob somebody of his or her own possessions. Capitalism is not making any pretensions about the fact that it's an exploitative system. Capitalism is sustained on private greed, profit, inhumanity to human. Even our own constitution, so-called, you get it, is opposed to exploitative system. Because if you look at section 16 of the Nigerian constitutions on the economic objectives of government, it said wealth shall not be concentrated in few hands at the expense of the state, and that the major sectors of the economy shall be managed by the state. What is the major sector? Why must you privatize NEPA? They even stole it. You get it now. You see? Why must you deregulate? Why must you privatize? Because it's clear in the constitution. So even taking IMF loan, trying to sell our refineries and our assets, are unknown to the spirit and letters of the constitution. So our constitution ab initio is opposed to exploitative system. So when we are talking that we must change that system, you see, it means that we must change a political and economic arrangement that tends to concentrate wealth in the hands of the few. You see, but when you have a new political and economic system in what we call socialism, which is collective, you get it, ownership of the means of production of society. So collective distributions of the means of society. Then we can decide, what do we do with our resources? We can decide to say, come, we level everybody with education. We level everybody with health. You see, in which that even whatever becomes your wage, you see, will have taken care substantially of your social and welfare needs of every human being in that society. So when you see society that have run alternative arrangement and have become examples and models for others to follow, it is the down redistribution of that wealth. That's what that system change means. You see, we no longer need an arrangement whereby you have a president like Obasanjo who will say his ambitions in life as president of the country is to make 50 billionaires, in which case the rest go hungry. So that is the point that we want the people to realize, that we want a humane system. Because the struggle you have today between monism and humanism. Because human will destroy itself if it continue with this exploitative system. So it's not about here alone. It's everywhere. And that's why you find the difference in leadership of the first generations of African leaders. The Nkrumah, the Lumumba, the Cabral, the Nyerere. You get it? These are examples, you see, of African leaders who understand the needs of their people. So that is the clear point. So a serious security agency in this point should be able to go and explain to the president, you see, the poverty that you have in the land. So when you have all this kind of tyranny, all this kind of suppression, let me tell you simply what it means. It shows the weakness of the government and its fear of the people. That is what is happening. You get it? The government is seeing the shadow, you see, of its failure. And it's seeing it, and that is why they call Mauricio just a call. Just a call. And what do you see? The government felt threatened. You see? Go to the north. Go to the south. Go to the east. Some of us move around this country. What do you see? Poverty grinding in that country and go. Why must we import a single liter of fuel into this country? We have the human capacity to refine fuel. You get it? You see? People move technologically from their own base. You just don't jump to anywhere. You see, and that's why countries that value education, that value society, use first education to level everybody. Because you bring out the best of your talents. You see? Why must you criminalize people? If people are stealing crude, you get it. You ask them, what can you do with this crude? Free the crude. And have enterprises for people who can refine fuel, the way they refine ogogoro. And from there you move forward. Even if you cannot build modular refineries.
Let's look at some of your demands, which includes the 30,000 national minimum wage, which the You asserted that the government is using delay tactics in order to exhaust workers' patience. You actually insisted on the federal government signing into, having signed into the law, insisted that it must pay 30,000 which I just want to juxtapose this with the National Assembly, which has just approved the procurement of vehicles for lawmakers, which could cost the country about 5.5 billion. Isn't that?
This is the point that we are talking. You see, when you run a system of greed, a statement is a system in which you care only for yourself and you don't care for, because what we are talking about system change in religious balance is simply like the commandment that people are not even upholding. Love their neighbor as themselves. You get it? Have you ever seen the National Assembly, anybody in National Assembly, you see, sponsoring a bill that education should be free? Have you ever seen anybody in National Assembly saying that these workers, so they even demand a slight wage increase? Not they are the one demanding to get that. So you see, in my little years on life, the poor people in this country have never enjoyed anything without a struggle. And I want anybody to challenge that. So that's why some of us apply ourselves to struggle. You see? Even the police. Look at what happened to the police. Police pension fund, Abi, became subject of embezzlement. Abi, what could the police themselves do? Even police reform. So each time you have this kind of security agency things, you laugh. You see? And that was why when there was the police strike, they can keep denying it. It's on record. I was the convener of United Action for Democracy. We published the leaflet. We still have copies of it. That police as a human being, they deserve the right to strike. Some of our members were arrested. I went to their force headquarters and challenged them. You can't fight for improvement or your conditions. Others join you to fight for that improvement. One of our comrades is late now, Comrade Teslim Oyekomi. Teslim Oyekomi was part of our cadres, you get it, that were in the agitation to encourage even the police then to say, come. Why must you keep yourself under this kind of conditions? So that is the point. So an institution that cannot even help itself, cannot redress itself, but transfers aggression society. So it needs to be told clearly that people have the business not to live with this condition. So whatever the DSS is saying, they can say it to the 350 years of the transatlantic strait. Abi, they were catching people as slaves. People are now struggling and they are fighting it. That they will never be slaves. So some of us can be called subversive to any level, terrorist, whatever you want to call it. It does not change that situations.
For some time now, a wind of absolute mass deviation from established political norms has swept across major countries of the world. And Africa is just not, it's just not moving along with this trend, so to say. In terms of the level of consciousness, of political consciousness of our people, to get back to the streets in order to demand their right. What is really wrong with our people?
Yeah, you see, struggle. Struggle is like food. I use the analogy of struggle is like food. Is that no matter how expensively you eat today, say you had a breakfast today, and you spend 10,000 to eat breakfast. In the afternoon, you don't even have 200 naira on you. Abi? In the evening, Abi, you feel hungry. If you don't want to starve to death, you will even go for 100 naira food. Is that clear or not? So you see the point, and this fella that clearly demonstrated, when humans are reduced to a state of mental poverty, that's what fella means by suffering and smiling. You are suffering. You are living with that conditions. You will suffer to eternity. So when there's a mental poverty, it retards a people. it underdeveloped the people. So, and that is why there is the need for this kind of wake-up call. To wake up the people about the reality of their own existence. It's either you want to continue to suffer or transform your society. So once you have not come to that realization, when you talk of anarchy, you see, in serious society, serious human society, where people no longer want to be dehumanized, those who are talking today are the ones that should be called criminals. Because you create a condition for anarchy. What we are trying to do is to avert anarchy. Because the anarchy, they say that, come, there can be another arrangement. And if you believe in it. So that's why change is not about the individual. It's about the society itself waking up to its own reality. You see? Are you saying that the millions of unemployed youth do not want a means of livelihood? Are we saying the millions of the poor have no access to education, do not want education? So when you are fighting for change, what you are fighting for is that thing that will make your life meaningful. And I've repeatedly said it's not now that part of the problem we have in this country is that majority of the oppressed people, of the exploited people, are spectators. You see? And leave the activist community or some few groups to that is the groups, like it's Javna versus government. Which government? It should be the people versus the government. That's the point. So a job is only a vehicle. You get it? To tell the people, come. If you want to be conveyed from here to Victoria Island, and you don't want to trek until you collapse on Echo Bridge, you get it? This is the option you have to take. So that is the point of appealing to the people. That's the point about talking about political education. Because the political education, what it translates to is this. You think about your existence. You understand the issues. For instance, as a student, who's supposed to fight for minimum wage? More than the student. Who's supposed to fight for the minimum wage? More than the traders. Because when the workers collect this money, where does the money go? You spend it on the children to be in school. You spend it in the market. So because whatever comes there, goes there. And most importantly, and that's why the struggle for minimum wage in Nigeria is essentially more of the larger society than even the workers. But because of lack of political, people cannot understand it. If you look at where do the poor spend their money in the local market? Where do the rich spend their money in this country? Overseas. Abi? What they wear, what they eat, and all those things. And we say there is unemployment. Why will unemployment not grow? Because those products are products that come from outside. They are not products you are doing here. I use that example severally. You go to ShopRite, you go to Just Right, you go to all the big malls. Go and count all the goods that are there. Find out where they are produced. How many is ShopRite employing? You get it? Assuming all those goods are produced here, assuming our refineries are working, you see? Because the refinery is a base industry at that level. So that is the issue. That is what we say we don't want. So even the president of this exploitative system himself is enslaved. And that's why you can see they cannot fight corruption. Because corruption brought you in. You get it? How do you fight corruption? So when you are in that circle, even if you claim you are Mr. Integrity or Mr. Right, they say, come. When you needed to pay for nomination form, who paid for you? So it is you who now want to prosecute. So that is a clear issue at that level. How can in our own country a president have to be treated medically outside the country? They can even sabotage you at that level. You are not free. You prioritize your electricity, yet you want to run military institutions. You get it? You are fighting Boko Haram. How many of those things are produced in Nigeria? Where is the Defense Industrial Corporation? What are they doing? But whereas The money they are spending in the Northeast now could have been spent for education in which no child will be out of school. So those who are recruiting people for criminal activity, they have nobody to recruit. Because it becomes abnormal to be seen. You get it now? Outside society. And you put those ones in the four walls of the schools. Mix with other people. What happens? So the reality I'm talking about is that with education, investment in education, investment in social welfare, investment in the citizen. That's what we call development. Development is not the structures. It's development of the human potentials of that country. Because when you put those children together, many of us in our days, we move to Maiduguri at night. We don't think of anybody who come from here. There are many people today, I don't know where they come from. We struggle together. We fight together because we have to better our country. So when some people now are that, if I have joined the police, when I finish, I will have become an IG. So, but I will not have become an IG that will not be threatening people, or a director of ops of operation that will be threatening people. So let them take their threat beyond some of us. You see, as far as this country is concerned, we have a stake in this country. The country is not run well, we have to fight it.
Finally, beyond the mass political education and mobilization, is the Joint Action Front and other civil society groups and coalitions as well as labor looking at protests, rallies in the coming days?
Yeah, you see, protest rallies are legitimate thing. You see, the difference with us in the Joint Action Front is this. There is a Yoruba saying or analogy. You don't avenge the death of your father when you don't have that miss. What is our miss is this one. What society do we want to change? Is it a society for Comrade Aremu, chronological fashion or not? It's a society for the Nigerian people. So the first appeal is to the people. You see? That's the point. You see? To appeal to the people, you have this. You see, protest at times must be a first condition by how much work you have done among the people. Because these same people are the ones that criminalize protest from our experience. That's why each time you see we have some of the labor struggles and we have protests around the place, we go to those they even call area boys. They are not area boys as far as some of us are concerned. They are victims of the society. We have had that experience. We move from Olajuwon and we are in the processions. But because we failed to adhere to our own rule, by making sure that those around the places are sensitized. They know what we are doing. And that is why those they call area boys and co, they are always with us in protest. Have you ever seen them looting when we are doing a major protest? So the failure on that day, because we learned that lesson, is that the police went ahead to organize those at Ojuelegba in the road, these road owners. You get to answer. Some people are coming to take over your garage. So by the time we are getting there, they were not attacking some of our people. Or some of us came out, they say, comrade, we didn't know it's you people. You see, that's the reason about why you sensitize. You see, let people understand. Most of those, you see, we have our own job. We are responsible people. And that is why some of us, when they say they are serious, but I call them victims of society. But when they want to win votes now, they know how to sit down with them. They know how to mobilize them to engage in criminal activities against the society. You see, if you are in a democracy, I always tell people, I was young, a governor in this state, I use it always as an example. In this party, this is the most flamboyant state. Abi, rode his own vehicle, live in his own house 4 years, 3 months before the Buhari Idi-Agbon military dictatorship took over in December 1983. You get it? The man was not attacked. I'm not aware of any ceremony where anything was named after Jakonde. You get it? When you say Jakonde Bocho, Jakonde House and Co, it's the people themselves from their own consciousness. That's an example of governance. You see? So let those in government test their own popularity on the account of this. If the SSS want to say subversion, you get it and go. Let the president and some of them go. They can protect the president. I don't need protection. And let's face the market and talk to the people at the market.